In this section, we will talk about the backend we are going to be using, and then how we are going to be using this backend to show the data on our front end. So to get started, we will talk about the news API backend we are going to be using. We will be using the newsapi.org website. So let's get started. So to get started, we can head over to newsapi.org, and then first we have to create an account. So we can click on login. I already have an account here, so I can directly log in. Otherwise, you can click on no account, get one here, and then you can create your account by registering. So I can go back and then log in, and then I can enter my credentials here. And after that, we can click on login. Now here on the next screen, we can see our account information. And then here at the bottom, we can see the API key that we will get to in the next video. So now we can go back to home. In here, if we slightly scroll down, then we can see the endpoints that we need to use to get the required data. So here we can see if we want to get all the articles about Bitcoin from the last month sorted by recent first. So we can use this endpoint, everything, and then we have to add our query for that. So here we are adding Bitcoin, and then we are adding our from date, and then our sort by field. And at the end, you can see we are passing the API key, and that will be specific to our account. And in the coming videos, we will see how we can use our specific API key. So if we scroll down a bit, we can see if we want to get the top business headlines in the US right now. And here we have to use top headlines in the endpoint. And the other query string parameter we are using is country. And then we have to pass US here. And it depends upon what country news you are going to be getting. So here if we are getting the US news, so we have to pass the country equal to US. And then we have to specify the category. And at the end, we have to specify the API key. Similarly, to get all the articles mentioning Apple from yesterday, so we can use this endpoint. To get more information about the newsapi.org, we can click on the documentation. And here we can see if we want to do the authentication, we have a couple of things we can use. So this is going to be our API key. So we can pass it by 3 methods. So we can either pass it using our API key or in the HTTP header, or we can use authorization HTTP header. But in our tutorial, we are going to be using this API key as a query string parameter. And we will see it in the coming videos how we can use it. If we take a look at the endpoints tab and we click on top headlines, you can see it is very similar to what we have just seen on the home page. So to get the top headlines, we can make use of this endpoint. So this will aggregate the top news from the different sources. And if we want to click everything, then we can make use of this endpoint. And if we want to get all the sources, then we can make use of this sources endpoint. So this will give us all the sources available to us. So we can also click on this news sources tab, and then we can see the different sources that are available to us. So let's say if we want to see the news by the ABC News, then we can click on it. And then to get the top headlines by the ABC News, we can use the top headlines endpoint. And then in the query string parameter, we have to use sources equal to ABC News. So now I think you have got the gist of how the newsapi.org API works.